Hello and welcome. As mentioned by Jagex, RS3 will utilize several new features such as the HTML5 engine using WebGL graphics, as well as the tear and share interfaces, which is what I'll be showing in this video. If you have not seen the graphics, I'll have links in the description to a short look of RS3, including a 45-minute extended look. If you haven't seen the RS3 videos, I would suggest checking it out even if you want to just skim through it, but the focus of this video will be on the interfaces. The graphics you're seeing is how they look in the live game, so it's nothing new, but what is new is the interface. This is an early look into the alphas, so there are going to be minor things that could be better, but I'll be just focusing on its potential, so hopefully you'll have a better idea of what it'll be like on release. So since this is, from what I know, I could be wrong on this, but I think this is going to be a forced update for the interfaces, whereas the WebGL graphics, that's going to be optional. So since this, from what I know, is going to be a forced update, I thought I would just show you how it would look like if this is a fixed screen. Now, it's a lot more flexible with larger screens, which is why I'm showing how cramped it is if you were to stick to fixed screens. Now, of course, you could like move this anywhere, but this is about how it looks like. So one difference is you could change where the game actually shows the in-game graphics. It's behind interfaces. So what you could do is actually change it if you wish. You could go to edit mode, go to 3D editing, and then, well, I gotta find it. It's under all this. And then you could change it so that it only renders in certain areas. Then you can move this stuff around and save, and then it's like that. Then you'll just have like empty areas here. So finally, they streamlined how you zoom in and zoom out rather than going through all the interfaces, like going to the graphics option to change it. You can just use your scroll wheel on your mouse to zoom in or zoom out. So a few things to note is currently certain features you just cannot delete, like the minimap you can't take away. I don't know what to call this, but these things get replaced by lists like F1, F2, F3, so and so on. And the front shot, you cannot remove these, as well as the action bar, which actually got extra ability on it, but the rest you could. Like there's an exit on the top right of it. So they moved a few things around, like the auto retaliate is now down here on the action bar where it's this cross of the swords. If it's lit up like this, it means that auto retaliate is on. When it's turned off, it means auto retaliate is off. Yeah, you get the idea. Then there's also the prayers for quick prayers where you select it, there's that, and the summoning. Get a pack yak, and there's a take BOB, summon, whatever. So basically all the combat portion is in this area. And the good thing is they finally added your max HP in the HP bar. Like previously it wouldn't tell you what your max was, so you weren't sure if you're eating too high or too low. Currently in the live game, if you wanted to teleport around, you would have to open your mage book, go down to the subcategory of teleports, and then choose your teleport there. Whereas here, they moved the teleport right here to right on the minimap. The downside of this is, so far, it only shows the home teleports. They could do a step up and have a second option to open the teleport book as like where this cancel option here, to open up this tab. So if you wanted to teleport, you just click on this or right click and choose the second option if it's not a home teleport. So you may notice that this is quite off to the side. It's not centered, which you can actually change that going into edit mode. You could move the central interface to wherever the middle of, or yeah, around here is good. Then when you open it up, it's right in the center where you want it. Or if you don't want it there, you can of course just move it around wherever you like. There's also all these other stuff. Tasks aren't really too important. But what is important is the buffs and debuffs, and that's the buffs and debuffs for you. So I'm just gonna move it right onto around here, right near the ability bar. And then when you use defensive abilities, debuffs, buffs will show right there and whatnot. The only problem with this is I can't find where you find the buffs and debuffs for whatever you're targeting. It only shows the ones that apply to you. Although there is this cool thing when you hover over the monster, it shows their weakness now. So yeah, it's weak to fire. But then, like I said, it doesn't show where their debuffs and buffs are, so you can't tell if they're being slaughtered, which I guess they'll fix this later on. So earlier I said how they changed the F1 keys to open up this HUD, which is where everything is sourced. Like this is F1, F2, F3, 4, and 5. F6, 7 are currently unavailable. So sure, I guess it makes it easy just to get to the place where you want it so you can drag it out. But the problem with that is most of us are usually used to using F1, F2, and whatnot for like the inventory, the equipment, the prayer book, and it would be nice if, like, say, if you right click right here, you could set a F1 key or whatever key you want. So you could set like backpack to F1, equipments to F2, and maybe prayer books to F3. It would be cool if you could just set F1s to whatever you want to further customize however you want it. The thing I want to point out is, okay, so here is the inventory. If you drag it up a little, you could see your own character. But the problem with this is okay, sure, it's around your character. Okay, it looks pretty, but then in practical use, your top is right here, your legs is right there, and your shield is between your legs and your torso. It would be nice if we could like drag it to where we want, like move the legs down here to how we recognize it easier, like how it was before, where the helmet was on top, followed by the amulet, then the torso, legs, boots. Another thing is, if you go to prayers, like honestly, does anybody who actually has 50 plus prayer actually use steel skin? There are a lot of prayers that we just never use because it's outclassed by higher level prayers. So why would we use the lower tier ones? So maybe they could enable a hide and show option where you could right click this and choose to hide it. If you're not going to use it, it's just taking up space. And if they allow us to do that, we could play with a prayer book of this size because there's only so many prayers that you actually use. A cool feature they are coming out with is the in-game A-log, where you can see the A-log of your friends, but in-game. So you don't have to open up the laggy adventures log from the home page. You could just go to my social and find it. So I think this is a really good idea. So a while ago, for those who remember the quest tab, which actually used to be a tab like right next to the backpack, it got moved into what was the notice board. So, okay, it's fine that the notice board is here now. You don't open a full screen interface. But what would be cool is if you could drag this tab out. And so you could just have it as just another interface if you're just like questing. But at the moment, it's still stuck in here. You can't drag it out. That's one of the things I feel that they could improve. So another cool thing they have is the world map. Now, it could be really small or really big. Like with the settings, you can't interfere with this middle area. It's just not allowed. But you can see pretty far, and you can actually click all the way to that side of the map, or click all the way up to Lunar Isle, which is cool. And this could be even better when they put this along with RS3, because the map on RS3 is a lot more expansive. Because it sees pretty much 2 or 3 times the distance. So I haven't really talked much about the chat, and honestly, it's not that good. Like I showed earlier, I think the method they have in the live game to hide and show the chat is a lot better than what they have here, because it's really hard to hide all of this, and really, you don't need most of it. And you can't even close some of them. You're just stuck with that tab. You're unable to get rid of it. But one thing they can do is, like, say, the friends chat. What they could do is, like, say, if you wanted to get the friends chat open and actually look at who's in the friends chat, you could go to the friends chat tab and maybe right-click it. And this right-click option would be open up the friends chat, because in, like, say, this loadout, I don't have the friends chat open, nor the clan chat. So that would be a cool little shortcut that they could make. Okay, so what I was meaning earlier was this simple way to show and hide the chat. You just click here, it's hidden. Click there, show it. And also the same for the ability bar. Aside from that, most of it looks pretty good. Another thing I think they should add is how the tabs are stacked like this. Click to show, click to hide, and it doesn't take that much space. So that's pretty much most of what is available for the Alpha 0.1. Most of this video, it may seem like it's complaining, but I'm actually saying these things because it can very well become true, as they're trying to make the interface as user-friendly as possible with our feedback, of course. So thank you very much for watching, and have a nice day.